Hello everyone, welcome you all to my online class of software engineering. In today's video, we are going to discuss what is life cycle model, life cycle and project management. The life cycle model is one of the key concepts of a system engineering. A life cycle for a system generally consists of a series of stages regulated by a set of management decisions which confirm that the system is mature enough to leave one stage and enter another. At a very conceptual model, we have some notation of a life cycle. A life cycle is the set of stages through which something evolves. For example, a human being life cycle involves from child, adult, old ages, and retired and so on. Similarly, is the software life cycle. Conceptually, you can think that somebody thought of the software so that is conceptualization, then it finds out what exactly is needed specification, then design the software code based on the design, test it, install it and deliver may. Then later problems are mentioned, and then after some time the software may not be needed anymore, maybe because the business has changed, maybe different software have become available which are much better, or maybe the hardware changed, so no more use of whatever reason. Slowly after many years it is no more used and it is retired. Based on this, based on this idea of a life cycle model, let's look at the what exactly is the software life cycle model, which is also called as a process model, the development process model, or the SDLC. Normally, we represent software lifecycle model or the process model in the form of a diagrammatic representation, just like we had represented in the earlier slide. But just a diagrammatic representation is not enough, even though it helps us to get quick glance of what happens. What are the stages? How does the software involves starting from conception to the final code, but it lacks detail, and therefore with every life cycle model will only have a diagrammatic model but also a descriptive description of what exactly is involved. Every life cycle model should identify what are the activity through which software is developed. Maybe the requirements gathering, requirement analysis, specification, high level design, detailed design, and so on. Every software is developed through different types of activities, and life cycle model represents all these activities, and not only it represents the activity but also establish a precedence ordering that which activity should be done after which one, and also divides all three activities into phases, that is which activity should take place in which phase of the development. In other words, every phase of a development consists of many activities. For example, the design stage activity, maybe structured analysis, structured design, design review, and so on. But let's answer this basic question, that why model life cycle? If as long as we understand that what are the activities to be done and so on, why do we need a life cycle model? Now, every development organization, they have their own life cycle model, which is written, description, graphical, and also written available in the form of books to be referred by existing programmers, new programmers, and so on. The main advantage of having such a graphical and detailed description, that is having a documented life cycle model, is that all developers will have a common understanding of activities that will be done, the sequence of activities, and so on. Therefore, the development becomes much more disciplined. It helps to identify inconsistencies in the activities redundancies, some activities not required, omissions, some activities required but not there. Let's say review is not mentioned, but that is really required. So we have to mention review in the life cycle model. And not only that, as long as we have written life cycle model for a project, a specific project, we can look at the life cycle model and tailor it little bit, that there are the activities which are not required, or there are some new activities that will be required for this specific project. No wonder that most of the standards, now quality standard, they require every organization which would qualify for that quality standard would to have a written life cycle model or the process model. Quality standards like ISO, ACI, etc., they all require documented life cycle model. Once a written life cycle model is available, an organization they have identified a suitable life cycle model for the type of the projects that do the programmers, the developers are asked to understand it fully, and they use it rigorously. The main advantage is that the life cycle model help to solve a big problem, that as long as the problem is small, it is done by one programmer or one developer, and he does by himself whatever he needs, and he does by himself whatever he needs to do. But when there is a team of developers working to solve a large problem, then the life cycle model has to be used, because every developer has to have a precise understanding of what exactly needs to be done. What are the other developers are doing? What is they are expecting from the development? The earlier life cycle, okay, the earlier informal development technique that was used was the build and fix style. This can be used only when the problem is very small and is within the grasp of an individual, and he has the liberty to do as interpret this style. This is a very informal style. Interpret, maybe he just writes the requirements first, very preliminary way, does coding, test, fix, and so on. But another design may interpret this and say that first needs to write the code, then design, then test, then change code. Another designer might say that needs to specify code to design test. So the developer said flexibility is using whatever style that suited to them. But when there is a team development, this kind of informal style of development would create real problem and the project will fail. Thank you.